This episode is brought to you by DistroKid.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Aloe or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does online business better than Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/income.
She's got a man on the side. Yeah, she's with him today.
Hey everyone, today's guest is bass guitarist and lead vocalist Eddie Spaghetti from the Seattle rock and roll band Supersuckers. Together, we tackle the writing, recording, and inspiration behind the fan favorite single, Pretty Fucked Up, taken from their 2003 full-length album, Motherfuckers Be Trippin'. The album was produced by Eddie himself. It was his first time stepping into the role, and it's perfect. This is bare bones meat and potatoes punk rock and roll, with lyrics that are, well, beyond tongue-in-cheek. You're just going to have to listen to the episode to find out where Eddie's lyrical inspiration came for this one, and it'll blow your mind. Supersuckers are lifers, unaffected by the latest trends, styles, or pop culture. Supersuckers continue to blaze their own trail. Pretty Fucked Up is instantly catchy. It's one of those songs that 20 seconds in, you're already singing and moving to the sounds. And Eddie said that when Blag Dahlia from the Dwarves first heard Pretty Fucked Up, he had song envy, telling Eddie, "Why didn't I write that?" I second that, Blag. It's so good. So for all this and a bunch more, don't you go anywhere.
Hey, hey, have you heard? Krista makes a podcast. Hey, hey, have you heard? Krista makes a podcast. Hey, hey, have you heard? Krista makes a podcast. Hey, hey, have you heard? Krista makes a podcast.
Well, Eddie, I'm impressed. It took you about 13 or 14 years to finally produce your biggest song by yourself without an outside producer. Who knew, right? Usually guys in bands that are like, this is my band. I have my paws on everything. I'm going to produce from the start. And it took you a second. And it's interesting. This song was released in 2003. The song is Pretty Fucked Up from the album Motherfuckers Be Trippin'. But I think that's really cool. It's one of the things I picked up on. What prompted you at that point? Had you made enough records and you thought, well, why am I paying someone to do this?
Yeah, pretty much. That was in a big period of sort of self-discovery for the band. We were, that was probably our fourth death that we were supposed to experience at that point. And we just decided, that was when we started our own label in the beginning of the 2000s. And we just decided why are we paying all these people to make all these mistakes? We can make these mistakes ourselves for free.
Well, can you explain on your fourth death a little bit? I think I know what you meant, but for everybody listening, what you meant by that, because a band like yours, a band like mine, we have 9 lives. We've been doing this forever.
Right. Yeah. Well, our first death was probably when we put out our country record in 97. That was the first time the band was dead. And then after that, we left Sub Pop to be on Interscope and recorded a record for them, which got shelved and has never been released. And that was the second death, and then coming back from that and making what became the Evil Powers of Rock and Roll record, which is, a great record for us, but it wasn't well received. It was, it was kind of a failure, like most of our records. So, that was death number 3. And then, we just decided to do our own record label. And, that was probably death number 4. Just the idea that we could continue that project. It started out great. Our own label was great for a little while, but it takes a lot of effort, and we lost a guy who was doing a lot of the work, and just after that, it just became impossible to keep up with.
Well, in the early 2000s, there was still meat in the bone being a record label. You sold some records, and the whole landscape's a lot different now.
Right. Yeah. I guess it was like 2005 or something when people stopped buying records.
Around then.
Yeah. And so that really, really was the death blow to the independent label thing.
Yeah, well, that happened to quite a few bands, but it sounds like you just kept pivoting. I tell that to young bands, and I'll use your band now as an example, but I've used a lot of different bands that go out there and they just keep pivoting. Okay, here's a lull in our career. Well, we can still go to Europe and play festivals, or we can still go to England, or go, conjure up some tour that's going to put people in the building and want to see the band. We're better than just trends and whatnot, and your band is. You guys are lifelong road dogs.
Yeah, that's where we've just, that's our records have become an advertisement for the live show, basically. So that's why we keep making the records. And I'm compelled to make the music. It's something that I'm going to do regardless. So it's nice to have the outlet.
Well, and I've always said too, and I give this advice all the time, younger bands, how do you do this? How do you do that? And I'm like, you got to find the right people. And along the way, you're going to have those hard conversations. I know you guys have had to be like, do we really need the extra driver in the van? We thought we might. This is, early days of Supersuckers. You're like, no, we don't. But he's a bro, man. I know, but we can't afford it. And you got to bounce that person at some point. And, maybe the bigger stadium acts don't have to do that, but we do.
Yeah, we've had to cut all our fat.
Yeah.
So we're a very lean operation now. Keep it small, keep it all.
I know, and sometimes I think about that, and you got like, okay, we got a skeleton crew working with us. We better at least pay them what they're worth, because they're just starting. I'm giving a shout out to my crew right now. They work so hard.
Yeah, I've never had a better camaraderie. The morale in the organization has never been better. It's a joy to get on the road with these guys, and I look forward to it every time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, going back to this episode, when we first, I don't know if it was your publicist or they got in touch with us, or if we reached out, but this came across us here, definitely jumped on it, wanted to do it. But off the top of my head, I thought, just if you were going to ask me out of the blue what the Supersuckers' biggest song was, I figured it was Born with a Tail. It had the MTV play, and come to find out, it's pretty fucked up. And again, you produced it. You had gone through your fourth death, as you stated. Here you are now, and I think it's all those things had to happen to lead up to this, and I think it's so cool. I also would bet that you have fans that still consider this a newer song.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of, it's never too late to come and see the Supersuckers for the first time.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of the policy. And, if somebody likes to, if I like it when I discover a song that I haven't heard, and I don't care if it's brand new or not. If I haven't heard it, it's new to me.
Right. Yeah. No, I love that, because I have fans come up, with their kids, or the kids will show up at shows, and I've had kids look at me at festivals, and we're talking 15, 16-year-old kids in the last couple of years, like, are you a new band? I've never heard of you. It's like, yeah, man, I'm brand new. Thank you.
Yeah, I wish. I think about calling the band something else every time we make a new record. Let's just be a new band.
They did things like that in the 80s. I don't know if you remember, Eddie, but radio stations, like, I remember in particular, it was Donny Osmond. He was already passé from the 70s, but they went to radio stations and didn't tell him who it was. And he ended up having a hit in like 89 or 90. Donny Osmond. It was like a pop hit at that point, but they didn't want people to know who it was, because they were going to judge the book by its cover.
Right.
But I want to jump into this tune right now. It's 2 minutes and 52 seconds. And before I do, I'm not one for picking out quotes, definitely from music magazines, but man, I think this is pretty cool. One of the first things you see on the Wikipedia page for Supersuckers, and this is from All Music. They describe the band as the bastard songs of Foghat, AC/DC, and ZZ Top after being weaned on punk rock, unafraid of massive guitar riffs, outsized personalities, or pledging allegiance to sex, weed, and Satan with a wink and a nudge. I love it.
Yeah, that's a surprisingly accurate description.
Pretty fucked up is 2 minutes and 52 seconds. The intro is verse 1. We don't have any time for an intro. It's going to start right off the bat with just your voice.
She's got a man on the side. Yeah, she's with him today. And I probably won't die, but it sure feels that way. And I used to be strong, I used to be tough, and she used to be pretty, but now she's just pretty fucked up. Oh, pretty fucked.
She's got a man on the side. Yeah, she's waiting with him today. And I probably won't die, but it sure feels that way. And I used to be strong, I used to be tough, and she used to be pretty, but now she's just pretty fucked up.
Yeah, well, the song, you might be surprised to learn, is not about a personal relationship of mine. I made this song. This is one of those songs that really came together in like 10 minutes. You know, it's one of those sort of magic moments. I got a phone call from my mother saying that she had been having an affair and she was leaving my dad. And, so it was this big shocking news, but, I was an adult. It wasn't like I was a kid, and it was devastating, but, it was a shock. And I got up on the edge of my bed and grabbed my guitar, and that song just came out like immediately.
Man, every hair on my body's standing up. It's about your mother?
It's about my mother. She's the one who's pretty fucked up.
I'm not laughing at your. Oh my gosh! This is hilarious, though.
Yeah, and the funny thing about it is that she loves the song, and it's sort of a dig on her, and he can't stand it. So, and I feel like I took up on his side with the narration of the story.
Isn't that interesting? So the person you kind of, you were championing for is the one that isn't so much into it, but your mom thinks it's cool.
Yeah, she's a wonderful lady.
I'll tell you, what I love, and I wrote one of the first notes I wrote here, Eddie, is this is the kind of song that you don't need to hear more than once to be hooked. It's instantly catchy. How many times have we walked into some saloon or some bar band playing and, they're just background noise more times than not. And other times there's just some bar band boogie going on. You turn around, you're like, instantaneously, they got the whole bar singing. Irish bands are great at this. Okay.
Yeah,
and they'll have the whole place singing in 5 minutes. You're like, I've been trying my whole career to get people to sing like this, and this guy in the corner with an acoustic guitar, But I love that about this song. It's instantly catchy. The simplicity. It's meat and potatoes rock and roll, but it's great.
It is. When I made it up, I thought for sure I must have lifted it from somewhere. It just came too easily, But it's just one of those things. It's the closest thing I think I have in my life to any sort of like higher power, or whatever. It's this the music that I don't know where it comes from, and it all of a sudden it's in my lap, So it's a wonderful gift.
Was that anger that prompted you to sit down and write this in 10 minutes? Was it sadness, a combination of a little of everything, shock, disbelief?
I think it was, shock and disbelief was the first primary emotions. There wasn't I wasn't mad at either one of them. I didn't feel anger. I felt, I felt sadness for my dad and my mom. She, they probably turns out there was a lot to the story that I didn't know, at that moment when I made up the song. But it's all been revealed now.
Mm-hmm.
But in the moment of the creation of that song, yeah, there was a lot of mystery. There was a lot of, all I knew were the facts of that she had a man on the side and that she was going to be with him today. That was really all I knew for sure.
Well, knowing your band, 2003, we were well into recording on Pro Tools and digitally, but did you track this to tape, 2-inch tape?
I probably.
Okay.
I think we probably did. I can't remember.
Okay, well, it doesn't sound copy and pasted. I listen really close to choruses and seeing if you've flown stuff. And, this sounds like a rock and roll band that was maybe cut live off the floor, sans vocals and guitar overdubs.
Yeah, that was how we were doing it back then for sure. And that's still pretty much the way we do it.
Yeah, well, that's why you guys sound live like you do on record, which is highly respected. Verse 1, some cool stuff. Vocals right off the top. She's got a man and on side, a lone guitar comes in for all of verse 1 and the last two lines. And she used to be pretty, but now she's just pretty fucked up. Lyrically, the verse there, it becomes the chorus, but before the chorus hits. And it's not a pre-chorus, it's still in the verse, but you get the hook. And she used to be pretty, but now she's just pretty fucked up. You get that in a lot of old standard classics. You know, from the crooners to the rock and roll guys, they'll get that lyric, they'll get that hook in there in a verse, and you'll be listening, and at some point you're like, wait, what's the verse and what's the chorus?
Yeah, I think it's a good trick, you know, when you can tag the chorus into the verse. It's a songwriting trick, I suppose. But I tend to use it a lot. I like when I like to keep a song as simple as possible. I like a direct line from point A to point B, and I don't like if things get too nebulous or the arrangement gets too busy. That's not the kind of music I like to make.
Yeah, and you know what? I think I've gotten better, but that's what I struggle with is editing myself. My listeners know I've said this before. It's sometimes you want to be the artist. Oh, the bridge needs to be bigger. No, it doesn't. This is a 3-chord punk song. It's a 2.5-minute song. It should be this, and
right.
That's a really good point. Do you recall doing a demo for this song?
No, I don't. This was before I would record anything on my own. Really, I would just. We'd have to do it the old-fashioned way. You write down the lyrics on a piece of paper, the chords, and you show it to the band.
Okay.
And
okay.
I had the idea for the arrangement. I knew that I just wanted it to be the vocal up front, the guitar, and then I wanted the kick drum to come in for the chorus, and then the whole band comes in on the second verse.
Well, we're going to talk about that right now. Chorus 1.
Oh, pretty fucked up. Yeah, pretty fucked up now. Oh, she used to be pretty, but now she's just pretty fucked up. Now I know people.
We're going to talk about your mom some more. I can't even believe it. Here's an instance where a guy's not going to punch me in the face for talking about his mom. Chorus 1. Oh, pretty fucked up. Yeah, pretty fucked up now. Oh, she used to be pretty, but now she's just pretty fucked up. There's kind of a double entendre there. Like, I can't look at her anymore. She's ugly to me.
Right.
She used to be pretty.
Exactly. That's the whole concept. And I remember when I showed the song to Blag from the Dwarves, and he was
probably the wrong person to show it to, but go ahead.
He was so mad that he didn't come up with that chorus idea before me. I was like, yay.
I love that. You got Blag's approval. That's amazing. You just said it. A lone kick drum comes in here, plays along with that lone guitar. Talking about those bar bands, those Irish bands, they got the hand clap up and it's always the kick drum.
Yep.
Kick drum's keeping the beat. I've said that before on the show so many times why rap works so well. It's a kick and a snare and a vocal. Okay.
Yep.
You're getting right to the heart of everything.
People clapping on the 1 and 3.
People clapping on the 1 and 3. Yes. And sometimes poorly as the night goes on.
Yeah. Preferably a little sloppily.
Yeah. Verse 2 comes right out of this chorus, and it comes in and now we're in drums, bass, stereo guitars, and I believe that's a B3 in there.
Yeah, I think there is a little B3 in there.
Okay, yeah, and it's interesting because it doesn't hit you like, oh, this is an organ. There's something high end there, and I'm listening, going, is that a guitar feeding back? I'm like, no, I think that's a B3 or something. It sounds awesome.
Now I know people change, and sometimes that's good, but some people don't, when maybe they should. But right now that don't help me. I might just throw up, 'cause it sure does feel shitty when things just get pretty fucked up. Oh, pretty fucked up.
Now I know people change, and sometimes that's good, but some people don't when maybe they should. But right now that don't help me. I might just throw up, because it sure does feel shitty when things just get pretty fucked up.
That's, kind of diving into it a little bit. There's an element to a relationship where you have to change a little bit. You have to grow and you have to accommodate the partner. And when that stops happening, then, things get fragmented and you're on the path to separation. And that's what happened with them. It's just like my mom changed a little bit. My dad changed, I'm pretty convinced that the human is not meant to be with one person forever.
How long you got, Eddie?
Yeah. I mean, almost all relationships, period, not just marriages or romantic partnerships, but almost all relationships dissolve after a while. And, it's rare when you have one in your life for your entire life. And so, I think that's the exception. And I wouldn't look at their relationship as a failure. I wouldn't look at any long-term marriage as a failure. If you guys manage to keep it together for over 20 years, it's a success, even if it didn't end with you guys being together.
Yeah, it sounds like you were well into adulthood when this happened.
Yeah, I was in my 30s, and it wasn't a devastating blow for me as like it would have been if I was a 12-year-old kid or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that would be awful.
And it turns out there was a lot of stuff going on when I was around that age that I wasn't aware of. So, all of that came out after.
Yeah, there's things from my childhood that kind of make sense as you get older. There's things that I think of,
Right.
I remember being really little. I was probably 6 or 7, and I couldn't figure out why everybody was normal at 9:00 at this New Year's Eve party, but by midnight, man, like my dad's like throwing the couch over and like there's drinks spilling. What's going on? Boy, this turned into a fun house real quick. Well, verse 2, drums, bass, stereo guitars, and that organ are all here. Verse 2 starts off with the vocal again. Now I know, and on People, we get a snare hit. That's when the whole band comes in. First harmony in the song on When Maybe They Should. And on the last couple lines here, on the last line in particular, When Things Just Get Pretty Fucked Up, we get that chorus lyric again. Chorus 2, to start it off, we get a cool drum fill.
Oh, pretty fucked up. Pretty fucked up now. Thought she used to be pretty, but now she's just pretty fucked up.
Oh, pretty fucked up. Pretty fucked up now. Oh, she used to be pretty, but now she's just pretty fucked up. About that copy and paste, and we talked about earlier with digitally recording, there's no yeah here on chorus 2. Now, I listened intently saying, did they just mute the yeah there? No, this is a different take here.
Yeah, we did all the choruses are different. And this song is weird because there's no bridge.
Right.
So, right. and that's not something I would typically let fly. I think if I were to make this song up now, I would probably try to cram some sort of unnecessary bridge in there, and it wouldn't be as good.
That's about that self-editing I was talking about a second ago. I'm guilty of that too. I think for me, the bridge is the guitar solo, and we're going to talk about,
I mean that's what it serves as for sure.
We're gonna talk about that coming up in a second, but we get harmonies in this chorus as well as some gang vocals. We get a gang vocal on Pretty Fucked Up right off the top, and we get some harmonies panned left and right on Pretty Fucked Up now, and on the last line, pan left and right again. But now she's just pretty fucked up. This harmony in particular, Eddie, it's really loose on this one, and I wrote in the notes again here. It's like a barroom sing-along. You want it to be loose. You don't want that thing to be super tight.
Exactly. Yeah, we wanted to feed the audience that notion that they will be singing along with this song all sloppily with us at the shows.
I'm in league with Satan, man.
Hey everybody, don't go anywhere. We got lots more coming up with Eddie after a few words from our sponsors.
Looking to elevate your music career? DistroKid is a digital music distribution service that enables musicians to distribute their music to online stores and streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon, Tidal, and many more. DistroKid collects earnings and payments, sending them to you, the artist. With DistroKid, artists unlock a world of possibilities. From easily paying collaborators with splits, to securing your music with DistroLock, DistroKid covers all bases. Plus, you can promote your releases with Hyperfollow and create eye-catching visuals with the Spotify Canvas generator, all for free. But that's not all. Introducing the DistroKid app, now available on iOS and Android. Artists can manage their releases, view streaming stats, and withdraw earnings, all from the palm of their hand. And for those looking to perfect their sound, check out Mixia. With its simple interface and customizable mastering options, artists can make their music sound polished and professional within minutes. And don't forget about Instant Share, DistroKid's newest feature. Share large files securely with collaborators, producers, and more, ensuring your music streams at the highest quality. Ready to take your music to the next level? Download the DistroKid app and explore their suite of tools today. Plus, listeners can enjoy 30% off their first year by visiting distrokid.com/VIP/DeMakes. That's distrokid.com/VIP/DeMakes.
Learning through play starts with Lego Duplo. With Lego Duplo, toddlers can develop real-life skills while having fun with colorful bricks made just for them. Large, easy to grip, and safe to explore. When children express themselves with Lego Duplo, they build patience, problem-solving, and empathy. See your child learn perseverance and self-expression with everything they imagine and create. Visit lego.com/preschool to learn more.
Gatorade is the #1 proven electrolyte blend designed to hydrate better than water. So you can lose more sweat and raise your game. Gatorade, is it in you?
Bustin' with the Boys is here to let you know that every college football Saturday, FanDuel is dropping profit boosts that can turn wins into bigger wins.
Sounds like we should rename Saturday Booster Day.
Nice.
21 plus and present in select states. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See full terms at fanduel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
United Healthcare nurse Crystal checked in on a patient.
We do a routine call after surgery, and I could tell in her voice that she was struggling.
Crystal knew she needed help.
And I knew that this is very serious. This is like septic. This is life-threatening.
And she knew just what to do.
And I called the hospital and said, she's coming in. Here are her labs.
And got her the help she needed.
I see my role at United Healthcare as a life-saving role.
Hear more stories like Crystal's at uhc.com. Benefits, features, and/or devices vary by plan area. Limitation and exclusions apply.
I'm Ashley Graham, and as a parent, I know the back-to-school transition can be a lot. When it comes to wellness, Ollie supports me and my family through it all. Kids Multi is big in my house. It supports their immune system, and they love to take it. A win-win for everyone. Shop these products at ollie.com or retailers nationwide. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hey everyone, Chris DeMakes here, and I've got some exciting news. Chris DeMakes a Podcast is now on Patreon. Your support is what keeps this show going, allowing us to bring you deep dives into amazing songs from incredible artists every week. When you join our Patreon at chrisdemakes.com, you'll get instant access to hundreds of episodes of The After Party, our weekly bonus show where producer Chris Fafalius and I talk music history, trivia, tour stories, classic albums, and whatever else comes to mind. Plus, you'll get early ad-free episodes of Krista Makes a Podcast, unedited video versions of each episode, and, of course, a brand new episode of The After Party every single week. If our show brings you a little joy, help us keep it going strong for just a couple bucks a month at chrisdemakes.com. Not ready to commit? No problem. You can sign up for a free membership while you decide. Thanks so much, everyone, and I hope to see you all at The After Party.
I was born with a tail.
And now, back to the show.
Do you remember playing this song before you recorded it? And if not, do you remember playing it for the first time? What was the audience reaction like? Because to me, again, this is one of those songs you hear once, and by the chorus, you already got your hand in the air.
I remember the first time we played this song just in the band room together, and we had sat down with the acoustic guitars. Everybody knew what they were going to do, and we fleshed it out. And then the first time we actually played it, everybody kind of stopped at one point. We all had the goosebumps. we all like felt the power of this simple little song. You know, it was just, and so we immediately wanted to play it live, of course. And as soon as we did, it was a showstopper immediately. Like everybody was like, wow, where did that come from?
That's so cool to me because, and I've had a lot of people on this show, been at this for a minute, over 5 years, and it's the same story. It's just like, yeah, this song was instantaneous. We went out and, a lot of people will say, or not necessarily say, but you can kind of tell. And I've heard interviews like artists have these huge hits that are like maybe even a little left to center of what they normally do, but it's like a super simple idea. Okay. And they kind of frown on it. They want to be artists, but it's like, you can't frown on something that's undeniable.
Right. Yeah. And I'm not afraid of being super simple, like rudimentarily simple. And I don't, we've never had any aspirations to be considered virtuosos at what we do.
Yeah.
It's for us, it's always been sort of this replacements-esque ragtagness to what we do that, sort of informs a lot of where we come from musically.
Yeah, and I'm gonna lump you guys into like a band like my band. Okay, we have our fan base. We go out, we do our thing. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I know you guys put out a record. It's one of two things. It's either, well, they haven't changed, or if you do change it, well, they changed. I don't like it. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Right. And I'm the kind of guy who is happy putting out the same record over and over again. Like all my favorite bands, that's what they do. AC/DC, Motorhead, the Ramones, all of these bands put out the same record over and over and over again. That's what I want to do.
Well, but you also have your sound. I've always believed this, but when I started doing this podcast, I believe it more than ever now that, we're all our own expression. That's why we all have our own fingerprints, our own DNA. I could never replace you in your band. I could never replace Eddie Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen couldn't replace me in my band. It's just not possible.
Right.
As great of a musician as he is, it's not gonna be the same. We're all unique, and sometimes be unique to yourself. Work on, hey, I got this sound. I'm gonna make it the best that I can, and not try to chase and follow trends.
Right.
Right out of chorus too, we're getting into what we both agree is kind of like acts as a bridge in this song. It's the guitar solo. We get this little vocal that takes us into a 16-bar solo. Sounds maybe like a wah pedal with a tube screamer or overdrive pedal of some nature. Classic rock and roll, just good tone. And halfway through, the stereo guitars do this that comes in pan left and right that's really cool. This solo, talk about that a little bit. When this was played at the time, I don't know if anybody in the band now was played on this track.
No, that person who played that guitar solo is now deceased.
I am sorry to hear that. Okay.
But he was a great guitar player, and he didn't start. None of our guys in this band started out as being good musicians. We didn't form this band based on anyone's musicianship. It was just the guys who were hanging around, and you could play the guitar, cool. I could play the bass. Okay, let's just do this. And then, it sort of, gained traction because the songs were good. And then this guitar player, Ron Heathman, he made a decision at some point, I think it was maybe after the second record, to really become a guitar player. And he wound up having to go to rehab and took his guitar with him. And he came out of rehab like a virtuoso, just like he was on fire. And so the Evil Powers of Rock and Roll record, all the guitar playing on that record is amazing. And it just continued.
Well, I wanted to ask about this. It sounds like someone just plugged in a Marshall and let it rip. I mean, was this thought out? And I love guitar solos because I know they can go so many different ways. I know there's guys that come in that can just shred, but they can't play the same things twice. They know their scales, whatever, and you piece something together that's like, that's a great solo. Other guys come in, They want to play note for note. They don't want anything edited. How did this go down? I love the performance here.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly, but I know we would go over the guitar solos in multitudinous detail most of the time, because I always wanted them to have like a mood, and I didn't want to just be mindless, wanky noodling, And a lot of times he would start playing something, and I would listen, and I would, I'd stop him and say, okay, that's good. We should start with that. And a lot of times he would end with something where I feel like he should begin with. And I think that happened here. I think he was ending the way the solo begins. And that's something that, you just hear, and you just kind of got to figure out how to navigate at the time. He was really great about taking instruction, which was really helpful.
Well, and too, especially a song like this, if you're going to put a guitar solo in it, to me, it can't be a throwaway guitar solo. This song's too important. And I think you guys knew that. Yeah, there's times, I don't know, if it's a Meat Men record or Gangrene or something, you're not expecting a perfect note for note solo or anything, and even in that realm. It's okay, fine. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be sloppy and all over the place. But, a band like yours, Supersuckers, there can be some punk rock in it. It can be kind of sloppy, and in this instance, it wasn't. It's a well articulated solo. I really like it. We come out of the solo and we get into this almost again. I just said that the solo functions as the bridge, but verse 3 kind of does, because we break down here at the top of it.
Now a long time ago, I made her feel this way, and I begged her forgiveness. Yeah, I begged her to stay, and she said that she loved me. It made me feel good. Yeah, it made me feel giddy. But now I feel pretty fucked up. Oh, pretty fucked.
Now a long time ago, I made her feel this way, and I begged her forgiveness. Yeah, I begged her to stay, and she said that she loved me. It made me feel good. Yeah, it made me feel giddy. But now I feel pretty fucked up. And before you jump in, Eddie, the only interesting part here, again, we get that chorus lyric at the end of it, but it made me feel good. Good isn't even a soft rhyme for up on fucked up. Every other time, like verse 1, and I used to be strong, I used to be tough, I used to be pretty, now I'm just pretty fucked up. Tough and up. You get up and I might throw up, and then pretty fucked up in verse 2. But here it doesn't rhyme, and it doesn't matter. That's the beauty.
Yeah, I'm like when I can get away with that. If I don't have to rhyme all the time, I feel better about it. It gets a little Dr. Seussy if you're just trying to make up rhymes.
I wouldn't even have realized this had I not had the lyrics printed. I wouldn't even have thought. That wouldn't even have come across my mind. But looking at it, I can see good and up, and I'm looking at the other ones and going, that's weird. And I'll rewind it and listen to it and go, oh, but it works. No one would ever pick up on that. But what's happening here in verse 3?
Well, verse 3, I feel like that's a verse. If I could have it to do over again, I might tighten that one up a little bit, because it gets a little specific to my mom and dad's case. That's just saying she's doing something that I had done to her before in the past, and she said that she forgave me, but apparently she didn't. Basically, that's kind of what that verse is saying. But now with the benefit of time and hindsight, I just feel like I should have been a little more general in that third verse, because it's so specific. It kind of loses some of the appeal for the stranger. Like you can't put your situation, you can't assimilate your personal problem and make that verse fit you typically. Whereas the other ones, anybody can relate to somebody having a man on the side. That sort of thing happens a lot, but I do feel like the third verse is a little too specific.
As direct as the other verses were, they were still a little ambiguous in terms of, yeah, it could be about your mom. I took it as this was a love relationship with you, which
sure.
that even went further with me with this third verse, because there was things like, and I begged her forgiveness. Yeah, I begged her to stay. I was like, oh, this is definitely a love interest that got away.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, I was taking the perspective of my father and making it, you know, as if he was the singer of the song.
Okay, well, some cool things coming here in verse 3. Again, it starts right off with just the guitar panned off right at the first half of this. It's just guitar and a hi-hat. And then on And I Begged Her, on her we get a steady kick drum that comes back in. Yeah, I Begged Her to Stay. We get a harmony, panned off left only. And She on Said, we get a snare. It's a pop on the snare drum. The band is back in with now stereo guitars again. And I mentioned that lyric, pretty fucked up, in verse 3. Happens again. That's a hook, man. And it's cool that you got it in here every verse. I think that's awesome. This song's kind of like one big chorus because of that.
Yeah, there's the verses are very minimal. You know, it's really all about just singing along with that chorus. So.
Yeah.
The verses are an excuse to get to the chorus, which, you know, great songs are like that. I feel like, you know, there's so many songs where you know the chorus, but you have no idea what the verses are even saying, or even maybe not even know what they sound like, but, you know, you know these great choruses.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if every band does, but, you know, we have a song that has fucked up in it. And what audience doesn't feel empowered and want to sing that? It's almost like a gimme. You know, I don't know how many times in your career you could do it, but
yeah, it's pretty easy. Yeah, it's low hanging fruit.
Yeah, totally low hanging fruit. That's the perfect descriptor. Chorus 3 comes right out of verse 3. This is like 3.5 choruses you ended at the end here. You kind of drove it home, which I really like, and I specifically like the last chorus because the chord progression changes. It's really cool.
Pretty fucked up. Pretty fucked up now. Oh, she used to be pretty, but now she's just pretty fucked up. Oh, pretty fucked up. Yeah, pretty fucked up now. Oh, she used to be pretty, but now she's just pretty fucked up. Yeah, she used to be pretty, but now she's just pretty fucked up. Pretty fucked up. Oh, pretty fucked up.
Oh, pretty fucked up. Pretty fucked up now. Oh, she used to be pretty, but now she's just pretty fucked up. For this first stanza, right at the top, we get the bass guitar. It falls off, I call it. It does this boom. Little slide there. Pretty fucked up. We get a gang vocal on this one. On the second line, pretty fucked up now. It is a harmony pan left and right, but it's super loud in the mix this time, which is great because we're at the end of the tune. Everything's lifting here. No harmony on the third line, but on the last line, but now she's just pretty fucked up left and right. And then we get a slide and a from the guitar panned off right. And we're in the second stanza of chorus 3. Oh, pretty fucked up. Yeah, pretty fucked up now. Oh, she used to be pretty, but now she's just pretty fucked up. We get gang vocals on the first, pretty fucked up. Gang vocals on the second one, panned left and right, super loud. And a harmony on the last line, but now she's just pretty fucked up. That lead guitar also comes back in here, wailing in the background. Almost sounds like a slide at times. I'm sure that at the end here, you're like, okay, it's overdub day. What else can we do here? And he got in and started ripping here. Was anything laid out? Do you remember?
Yeah, I mean, I liked that's a technique that we use a lot, you know, to bring the guitar solo back up. And once you double up the chorus at the end, you know, when the second chorus rolls around, you throw in a lead guitar, you know, somewhere in the background there. And that's a fun day. Guitar solo day is one of my favorite days in the studio. You know, it's just, that's when all the gravy starts coming out, and there's the in the moment creativity.
Yeah,
and that's. The studio is really the funnest place to do what we do.
It is, you know, and I've met guys that don't like the studio. They, you know, and I don't get that. I enjoy both the process of, they're completely different worlds, as you know, being on the road and playing a live show and being in the studio. And that's something as a young musician that we didn't know. You know, I remember one time making one of our first records, and the producer's like, I want a ghost to piano in the chorus. I'm like, we don't have a piano. We're a 3-chord, a 3-piece trio with a horn section, And he's like, we're making a record. Go play live. I don't care what you do. And I chewed on that for days, thinking he was so wrong in that statement, but I was wrong.
Right. Yeah. And the studio is it's my favorite place to be when I have new material and, you're hearing it come to life. It's the most exciting thing that I get to do.
That's awesome. Well, we get one more stanza, a chorus 3. Like I said, it's like 3.5 choruses here. Yeah, she used to be pretty, but now she's just pretty fucked up. Pretty fucked up. Pretty fucked up. And then this last lyrical stanza here that happens, the chords change here to an F chord. I love that. It brings a little tension here in the last time. Talk to me about that a little bit. Was that always there? Or was that something you're riding this last chorus out? You're like, let's just change it up a bit.
It's something. It's another little Eddie Spaghetti trick I do a lot. Like I'll just find an alternate chord at the end of a song to add a little something to what's already been going on. And I don't know. I don't remember how that happened, but it's definitely it's a cool little thing, and it only happens at the end of the song.
I used to listen to songs as a kid, and I didn't realize I was doing exactly what I'm doing now, but I didn't know what I know now then. And I'd be listening to songs and be like, this last chorus, the vocals are the same. What sounds different? Why is it hitting me different? Well, because you went to a different chord and I wasn't picking up on that. And that's just, I love those little nuances of music. It's so cool here.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things.
Absolutely. We get a harmony on Now She's Just Pretty Fucked Up, a harmony on Pretty Fucked Up, pan left and right. And it's just you, Eddie, on the last, pretty fucked up. The band decays together with a guitar panned off right, feeding back, and you're starting to mix this thing. You're in the studio, you're hearing this back out of the rest of the tracks that made the album Motherfuckers Be Trippin'. And where did this sit with you? Was it like, this is one of the top tracks on the record, or what'd you think?
For sure. I knew it was a strong one, and probably the most single-like song on the record, but it had said fucked up in it. So there was no chance of making that a single, especially back then. So we went with Rock and Roll Records Ain't Selling this year. We made a really cool video for that. But I think it's like the third song on the record. And
it is.
Every time, since the advent of CDs, the third song on the record is the hit song. So that's why we put it there.
Well, on your playlists on Spotify, I think you're on Spotify or Apple Music and all that stuff. You have to put it first because that's what everyone clicks on first. You'll notice you'll see like 5,000 plays on our first song, and then you go to the second one, it's like 323. But hey,
yeah, exactly.
I'll take the 5,000 plays. You talked about a second ago about loving being in the studio and creating. Your last record came out in 2020 called Play That Rock and Roll, and you have a new album coming out on October 3rd of this year, 2025, called Liquor, Women, Drugs, and Killing. Tell me about that. Did you get with Blag on that title?
Well, that title's been sort of a part of Supersuckers lore for a long time. There was an interview I did back in the 1900s where a guy said, is it true that all your songs are about liquor, women, drugs, and killing? And I was just like, yep. Yeah. And so that was a famous little thing that we've had. And so we just, the title's been kind of laying on the floor the whole time, and we decided it's time to dust it off and put it up there.
I love that. And you had done some touring this past summer in June and July, and you have a tour in October of this year. Who's that with? Is that in the States?
Yeah, that's in the States with this piano guy named Jason D. Williams. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but
I am not.
He's a maniac. He's like a Jerry Lee Lewis type of guy. And his sets are interesting because he never does the same set twice. And he just kind of gets up there and starts playing the piano, and his band is trying to follow him, and it's insane. But I don't know who his audience is going to be. Like, I guess we're opening for him, and nobody seems to know who he is. I don't know how it's going to go, to tell you the truth, but I'm excited about it.
You guys are lifers. I'm sure it'll be great. And anything else you'd like to leave listeners with before we part?
No, just make sure you listen to the Supersuckers and wear your clean underwear, because we're going to rock your pants off.
I love it, man. Awesome. Eddie, thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
Hey, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed this conversation with Eddie. I got lots to talk to Chris about in the rap segment that's coming up. We also got the band you might not know coming up right after a few words from our sponsors.
Let's play Burlington's Guess That Price. Back to school means back to saving. We're bringing you kids' jeans starting at, hold on a minute, just $11.99. Burlington's acing this test. What about character backpacks? We've got them starting at $12.99. Burlington's done it again. How about sneakers for the kids? A-plus brands and right on trend starting at $11.99. Saving is now in session. Burlington, deals, brands, wow! Styles and selections vary by location.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Checking off the boxes on your to-do list is a great feeling. And when it comes to checking off coverage, a State Farm agent can help you choose an option that's right for you. Whether you prefer talking in person, on the phone, or using the award-winning app, it's nice knowing you have help finding coverage that best fits your needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prime delivery is fast. How fast are we talking? We're talking puzzle toys and lick pad delivered so fast you can get this puppy under control fast. We're talking chew toys at your door without really waiting fast. Pee pads, cooling mat, and peg hammer fast and fast. And there's training TREATS faster than you can say sit fast. And now we can all relax and order these matching hoodies to get cozy and cute fast. Fast free delivery. It's on Prime.
Save big during Labor Day at Lowe's. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. Plus, buy more to get up to an additional 20% off. Shop even more savings with 3 Stay Green 1 cubic foot vegetable and flower garden soil bags for $10. This Labor Day, take care of your home for less at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 9/3. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Selection varies by location. Select locations only. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Make your next move with American Express Business Platinum. Earn 5 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked on AmexTravel.com. And with a welcome offer of 150,000 points after you spend $20,000 on purchases on the card within your first 3 months of membership, your business can soar to new heights. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum. Amex Business Platinum. Built for business by American Express.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? Well, with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills. Wait, did I say job title yet? Get started today and see how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
If you're a band, artist, record label, or business looking to get your message out to a passionate audience of music lovers, consider advertising on Chris DeMakes a Podcast. We'd love to help you connect with our listeners in a meaningful and authentic way. Just drop a line to my producer, Chris Fafalius, at chrisfafalius@gmail.com. That's Chris, Fafalios @gmail.com. If our listener base sounds like it might be a good fit for you, reach out and we can talk rates and discuss the best way to effectively get your message across.
As we near the end of the show, here's a band you might not know.
Welcome to this week's Band You Might Not Know. If you'd like your band to be considered for Chris DeMakes a Podcast, email your best song via MP3 only and a short bio to bandyoumightnotknow@gmail.com. This week's featured artist is Talking Props, a 4-piece punk band from Santiago, Chile. They have toured the U.S. twice, performing at Fest in Gainesville, Florida in both 2022 and 2024. They have a new EP out called Tough Enough. Here's a snippet of their song, Talk.
Let's talk again. I missed the point.
The Wrap with Chris and Chris.
So, Chris, that was a Chris DeMakes a Podcast first. Never in a million years would I have guessed that this song, Pretty Fucked Up, was a song that Eddie wrote about his mom. Never would have guessed that.
I mean, who would have? This is a classic, old-timey rock and roll 3-chord, bar band rock song that was about his mother. Who would have thought that?
Yeah, it was pretty. There was lots of things. I loved this episode. I told both of you guys once you finished, I thought it was a lot of fun. Eddie talked about when they were working on this song in this album, that it was kind of the fourth death of the band at that point, which is funny. I get what he was getting at, but also I feel like it's kind of inspiring and a story of resilience. Here we are today, Supersuckers still at it, have a new album out, Road Warriors, just a long time beloved band. I think that's awesome. Keep your band together. Keep it going. I love that story.
Yeah, no trends, no amount of time can kill a band like the Supersuckers. It's just impossible. They're just crawling along. They have their fan base, but you know what? Now time is on their side. I used to think the more time that would go on, Chris, that people would forget about my band. And luckily that hasn't happened. People, their children are old enough to go to shows now, and they're bringing them out. And it's the gift that keeps on giving. I used the term the other day. It's like compound interest over the years. It just keeps building. When I thought it would have been the opposite, and you're right. I mean, here the Supersuckers are 22 years after the release of their biggest song, still doing it.
Yeah, I love that he said our records have become an advertisement for the live show. Well, hey, isn't that kind of what we're all doing if we're rock bands that are known for our live show? Yeah, sure. Our records are kind of advertisements for our live show. We want people to love the records, of course, but maybe even more importantly, or equally as important, is that we go out there and kill it live.
Well, record labels used to give bands what was known as tour support. And the reason they gave that to them was because the tour sold the records. You had to have the act out there. You had to have a tour going on. They had to be opening for a great band that had a following, and you were trying to sell records because you were making the profit margin on records back then was insane. Insane enough for a label to say, hey, we're going to give you $60,000 to go on the road right now to promote this album.
It is crazy, man. I'm in the process right now of we're getting, vinyl copies of the new Punchline album ready to go and stuff. And it's like, you might make twice your money or 2.5 times for every record you sell. Back when it was CDs, you would make at least 10 times, maybe 15 times the cost of that CD every time you sold one of them back in the day. And now, would you say that it's opposite, that now you make the records to advertise the live show? Is that what it is?
I mean, yeah, ultimately. I mean, you have a record out because it's something to talk about. I was talking about this the other day with my guys. It's like we release music because we enjoy creating together still. Plain and simple, but it's also because it's a story. It's something new. I mean, we could mine our back catalog and back history forever, but that's only fun for so long.
Yeah. I love that you guys talked about the trick of tagging the verse, or like ending the verse right into the chorus. It's a very old rock and roll thing to do. Born to Run from Bruce Springsteen. Tramps Like Us, Baby We Were Born to Run, leads right into the chorus. Jesse's Girl, I Wish That I Had Jesse's, leads right into the chorus. I love that happens in this song. I feel like that's something we haven't talked about much on this show. I thought that's a pretty cool trick, a pretty cool old school rock and roll trick.
Well, yeah, and you either had to pick one here. You know this song with a lyric, unless it's going to be do a radio edit and you're going to go in and sing pretty messed up. It's either going to be that, or you're going to take the attitude of this is what it is. So we're going to bury the hook and hammer the hook home as much as we can. And Eddie did a great job of it here. He said immediately that he knew he had this overwhelming feeling come over him when his mother disclosed the news that she was leaving his father, picked up a guitar. 10 minutes, the song was born. Here it is. Didn't demo it. The song was done. We're not messing with it. It's a Supersuckers song. We're going to go record it, and here it is.
It is really cool when a song falls in your lap like this. Of course, we've heard that story so many times on here. And I couldn't help but think this while you and Eddie were talking, Chris. You two seem like two people that would get along really well. I mean, you did in that conversation anyway. You seem like two people that would be friends in real life. If you toured together, you'd probably be hanging out and be buds. I just think it's cool that because of this, the conversations that you have with all these fellow songwriters that you never would have had otherwise. I'm sure you think about that all the time. You might make small talk with somebody, but you have like,
oh yeah,
real deal conversations with people. I think that's awesome.
I think it's awesome too. And as songwriters, we're way more alike than we're different. I don't care what style and what genre you're in. You know, you have to come up with an idea. The idea has to start first, you know, and then you create this song and you throw it out there. And at that point, whatever happens with the song happens. But you got it out of your system. And we want you to get more Chris DeMakes a Podcast into your system. Head over to ChrisDeMakes.com and sign up.
I was hoping you were going to say that.
And sign up for our Patreon, where you help Chris and I make this show each month. We don't ask for much. We just ask for you to listen and I don't know, maybe throw a few dollars into the tip bucket each month. Go to ChrisDeMakes.com, be part of our Patreon. You get bonus episodes each month. It's great. You'll love it. Go check it out. It's go to our YouTube page. You can find episodes there and see if you like it. ChrisDeMakes.com. And Chris, do you have a review for us this week?
Chris, I'm going to do something different this week. I've never done this. Every time. Okay, now our overall review score. I know a lot of people don't even look at their reviews on the internet, and maybe sometimes you shouldn't. But our overall out of 5 is 4.9. We have tons and tons of reviews. It's 4.9. Once in a while, there is a review that's not 5 stars, which keeps it from being an overall 5. It's why it's at 4.9. And today, I'm going to read a review that's a 3-star review. How do you feel about that?
I love it. Hey, I can take constructive criticism.
I want to defend us a little bit in this. We got a review from Punk Matt, Punk M-A-T, gave us 3 stars and said, stop with extra previews of other shows. And Punk Matt said, I follow your show for your show, not to download a bunch of previews that I don't want. Well, Matt, here's the deal, Punk Matt. We have to keep, as Chris, you'll hear Chris say, we got to keep the lights on over here. Yes, we do have ads. If you don't like ads, you can sign up for our Patreon and get some ad-free episodes. But look, we put a lot of hours and time into these episodes, and we do literally have to pay our bills. And the hours and hours and hours we put into this show each week, you might get some previews for some other shows and some ads. I was going to say I'm sorry. I'm not going to apologize, Punk Matt. This is the way it is. No one's forcing you to listen to those other previews or shows or whatever. Hey, man, if you enjoy the show, that's what has to happen. That's what I'm going to have to say. The 3-star review, I was kind of a little ticked off about it, to be honest.
Yeah, well, and I'll tell you, Matt, if the movie starts at 7:05, I always get there at 7:25. I don't like previews either. So that's the best advice I could give you. Start 20 minutes late into the episode. Maybe you'll like it. Maybe you'll like it then. I had one of my most favorite episodes in a while today with Eddie Spaghetti. I thought it was awesome, Chris, talking about Pretty Fucked Up. So it is that time in the show where I thank each and every one of you for listening, and I thank this week's guest, Eddie Spaghetti, for sitting in with us. And we'll catch you next week.
Hey, it's Chris Fafalius here. Look, how many times do I have to ask you to go subscribe to One Hit Thunder wherever you get your podcasts? I'm sure you've been listening to Chris DeMakes a Podcast forever, and if you like this podcast, you'll like that one too. You get to hear us talk about Take On Me or Flagpole Sitta or Tipsy or whatever song we're doing that week, and we laugh a lot and we learn a lot. And sometimes we discover that a band is actually way better than their hit song, or sometimes we learn that the band totally sucks and should never have had a hit. But regardless, it's always fun. One Hit Thunder, just go subscribe wherever you get your pods.